Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, guys? It's your boy Sega Man back here with us. Really, a good podcast that I've been wanting to do with my brother E-Rock from the Exile podcast. And today, guys, we're going to really touch on something that's really heartful in my heart that I really want to talk about with my brother E-Rock, and I chose him to do because I think he can really give some really good insight into what we're going to talk about today, and that's racism and race in gaming that we're going to talk about today, man. It's Black History Month, and I was thinking about this yesterday doing this podcast with brother E-Rock, man, and we're just going to tell you our experiences about racism and gaming. Um, things that have happened in my past experiencing racism in gaming and what we can do to change that, and what we can help to do to change that. And later on, we're going to also talk about where we think gaming should go ahead when it comes to, having more African Americans as leads in gaming, and also even Latinos. We need to see more of that, I believe, in gaming. You know what I mean? So I want to introduce my brother E-Rock, man. What's up, brother? How's it going?
Hey, Sega man. Hey, guys. This is E-Rock X, the Don King of Xbox, the hype man for the Xbox brand. And it's always great to be anywhere with Sega Man 101. I consider him a good friend of mine. I've wanted to work with him for a long time, and it is Black History Month, and I'm ready to talk about these topics. I guess we'll be able to knock this out for about an hour. If there's any interruptions or if we have to leave, Sega Man will hold down the fort. But Sega Man, before we begin, since this is Black History Month, I think it would be remiss to not mention one of the, if not the pioneer of the home video game console. And this can be found on Wikipedia. We're talking about Gerald Anderson, Jerry Lawson. This guy was
Yes, sir.
an electronic engineer, and he is known for his work on designing the Fairchild Channel F, which I believe was the first video game console. It was not the Magnavox or the Atari, as I used to think. It was the Fairchild Channel F video game console. This guy also led the team that created the commercial video game cartridge. This African American pioneer has been dubbed by many as the father of modern day gaming. So, as gamers, I think it would be remiss this Black History Month if we did not recognize the accomplishments of Gerald Anderson Lawson, uh, Sega Man.
So E-Rock, let's for gamers out there, true gamers out there that don't have knowledge of this brother that really uh, brought really interesting. I've watched I watched the documentary on this brother. It was very fascinating. So for young gamers out there that are true gamers that enjoy gaming might not even know about Channel One and its background and how it started. So if you please, man, will you tell everybody about Channel One, man?
Well, I'm looking at it right now. I'm trying to find anything on Channel One I can. Did you? Here it is. Here it is. I don't have the Channel One, but I have information up on the Fairchild Channel F, which is short for Channel Fun. It
Fun,
was the
yeah,
first. It was the first programmable ROM cartridge-based video game console. The first console to use a microprocessor. It was released by Fairchild Camera and Instrument in 1976. Wow, at a retail price of
yeah,
$159. That's
yeah,
very affordable. Um, it was originally named Video Entertainment System, but when Atari released its video computer system the next year, Fairchild changed the name for its machine, although they continued to use the same name. I got a picture of it here, but it can be found on Wikipedia. It's actually a fairly well designed box. You can kind of see where Atari ripped off a lot of stuff from this thing. Um, let's see what it says about games. 27 cartridges called video carts were officially released to consumers in the United States. The video carts were yellow and the size of an 8-track cartridge tape. So that must
yeah,
have been wild. Here's
yeah. I
something
seen it.
different. The console contained two built-in games, tennis and hockey, which were both advanced Pong clones. Pong, that was a historic video game. Um, wow, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. And there were a lot of games for it, man. Video Kart 8 Magic Numbers, Video Kart 9 Drag Racing, Maze, Jailbreak, Bluff, Trailblazer, Backgammon, Baseball, Robot War, Torpedo Alley. So I mean, these guys weren't messing around, man. Space Wars, probably Space Invaders knockoff, Alien Invasion. Um,
Probably like an Astro Smash almost, or any something like that. Probably
yeah,
close to like
yeah.
an Intellivision, because I think the controllers were actually, I think they were actually hooked into the system, right? They couldn't detach. It's probably kind of like an Intellivision almost, where you couldn't even take the controller out. I think it was built into the system,
Well,
I believe, if I remember correctly.
I'm looking at it now. It has two odd looking controllers that are wired. So I don't know if they can leave the system or
Yeah,
not, but they are
right.
wired. I mean, the console actually looks like a cable box from back in the 80s, which we used to call Toka boxes. It's really a
Yeah,
odd looking console. But this is just mind boggling that there was something else around before the Atari 2600 and a black man invented it.
yeah. And you know what? We got Fatal in here, and he said he did a video on Jerry Lawson a long time ago.
Oh man,
You
Fatal, that
know,
Sherrod, that's what's up, man.
yeah. So I'm gonna have to
Wow.
go to your channel, Fatal Sherrod, and I'm gonna have to check that out because I would really like to watch that, man. That's very, inspiring, and that's really awesome that you did that, man. That's really awesome.
Hell yeah, that's
Thank you for
amazing,
the
man.
comment.
That's keeping history alive.
Yeah. So, E-Rock, what do you think about that, man? Did you? I actually watched the documentary on that. I can't remember the whole thing, but I know they did interview. I think it was on Netflix. I forgot what it was called. It was all about gaming, and they did interview. I believe it was his son's family, and he was talking about his dad and that video game system. Also, how hard it was for him to get, just really break through with what he was trying to do with that video game system, because it was the very first home console system, if I'm correct. You know what I mean? I believe it was. I
I
don't know if
mean,
it. I don't know if Pong was first, but I thought that the system he made. I could be wrong, guys. I thought it was the very first home console. That was made.
I got to do my research and find out. I believe his was the first. I do believe that there was a Pong. There was actually because I remember my family having it way back in the day. Must have been
Yeah,
1978.
I had
There was
one.
like,
I had one.
do
E.
you know what I'm talking about? Then yeah,
I had a Pong. It was black and it was all together and it had these knobs you had to turn. I
that's
remember that.
correct. That's correct.
So what actually give us your opinion and your perspective, E Rock, on what you think about the brother that made the gaming system, man. So what did you take from it, and what inspired you about learning about this African American that had a video game system?
I think it's an incredible story. I think he was a pioneer. I only found out about him about 6 years ago. I think he was a pioneer. And the hurdles he must have had to overcome, not just being an African American engineer, but trying to get the Fairchild Camera Company to invest in something that they probably didn't think was viable. I mean, video games, like a home
Yeah,
video game console. Like, I mean, we're talking about an era where all there was Pong, basically. We're talking about an era where all there was pinball machines. The arcades as we know it, Space Invaders. That had
yeah.
Pac-Man, that had not even happened
Asteroids.
yet. Yeah, Asteroids, that had not even happened yet. So for him in 1976 to try to push this to a board of directors and get it through, and it's just amazing um, that his contribution up until 2012 had been forgotten about because all we ever hear about is Atari, and before that, the Magnavox Odyssey. That's all we ever hear about. But
Yeah.
his story is inspiring. It's inspiring to see that, people of color can achieve, and in a market, in a sector that hadn't even been created yet. There had been home computers, but a home video game system. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's very
Yes.
inspiring. It's very inspiring, man. I would love to see a movie made about this. They could make a movie about everything else. I would love to see a movie made about this because video games now, they're bigger than movies. They're bigger than motion pictures. They're a huge entertainment revenue builder and driver, and no one even knows about this man except for people like yourself and Fatal Sharad. So he's very inspiring.
Yeah. And I would like to actually, because I am a collector, and I'm sure Fatal Sharad knows that. And I want to say, everybody's welcome to come to this podcast, but this is for everybody. You could maybe just learn a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. You know what I mean? And it's my contribute to part of, in my opinion, to Black History Month. You know, to do this, to do what we're going to be talking about today, because it just really honestly needs to be, talked about, guys, and addressed. So if anybody has any kind of feelings that come into our comment section and want to give a good opinion about what me and Erock are talking about today, which is race and gaming, please do. Please be discreet, and please don't be, please don't be ignorant towards us, or my comment section, or I will have to get rid of you, because we're not going to have none of that here. This is a very serious topic that we're talking about today, uh, on my channel here on the podcast with my brother Erock. But anyways, Erock, I wanted to try to get a hold of one of those. I'm trying to do a little bit of research on it, seeing how much it would probably cost. But I would like to add that to my game collection, and possibly, if I would get one, try to do a video on it and even show some gameplay of those games that were in there. But I'm trying hard to get that. I think the earliest system I own that's complete in its box is the Odyssey 2 and the Intellivision.
Wow.
Those are pretty old. I have those in the box. I'm going to do a segment, brother Erock, on those. I did one today, the other day, with TurboGrafx 16, and
Yep.
but I'm going to do. You seen that, right? That's
Hmm.
all I own for that system. But I'm going to do these ones because the Odyssey was actually Hebot's one of his first consoles he ever played, which was the Odyssey, and I have
Wow.
the Odyssey too. So I'm going to do like a good video on that. I'm going to set up a table, take it out, talk about it, do some camera work on the video when I do it. But I'm going to do some more videos like that, man, because there's a lot of people out there that don't even know about those systems that me and you grew up with and he bought, and in 100, the older gamers out there, the OGs. So, and some of these younger folks out here that want to get into gaming and even collecting, they might can, if they want to, they might want to do their own research and maybe think about purchasing some of these games and experience what we experienced as we were kids. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, Erock, um, I want to get into today about racism in gaming, man, and maybe some of the experiences that you maybe experienced when you were playing like online games. I'm going to tell a story or two of mine that I experienced, and and everybody that's watching, it's not going to be, this is going to be the truth, and you're going to have to just, go with the punches here, because me and Erock, when we say something that we're going to address or want to talk about, we say it the way we say it. That's just the way it is. There's no sugarcoating. If you want to know the real story about our experiences with racism in gaming, I'm going to give it to you. I'm not going to use little words or anything like that. I'm going to tell you exactly how it happened in that period of time when I experienced racism in gaming, and what we can do later on to maybe try to, you know, uh, try to abolish that and get that out of gaming. Microsoft right now is doing that, where you can report people, I think, if you hear the word, and I got to say it, guys, because I have to be real. If somebody is in a game with you, and you're an African American, and you hear somebody from another ethnicity say the word nigger, or something like that, or call a Latino a spick or a wetback. I think they call the racist names, or a cocker
Yeah,
spaniel, or
I didn't
something
mean to
like
laugh.
that.
I didn't mean to laugh, man. I'm
Right,
sorry.
right. But if you hear that, it's your duty. If you really believe that that shouldn't be in gaming, you need to report that. You know what I mean? And I know Microsoft is doing that. I don't know about Sony and them. I don't know what they do in their policies, but I know Microsoft made it evident that they don't want racism and racial discrimination in gaming on their side. So that's what we're going to talk about today, guys. So, and if you have any opinions about it, or if you experience any kind of racism in gaming yourselves, please leave a comment in the comment sections below, and we can talk about that. You know what I mean? And don't be scared to do it. I mean, this is something that really needs to be addressed and needs to be talked about. You know what I mean? So that's what we're doing today. You know what I mean? So E-Rock, man, we both been gaming for a long time. You know, when we were younger, we didn't have the systems we grew up with weren't online. You couldn't experience stuff like that. You know, but when you first got your first Xbox OG and Xbox Live came around, and they had games like Halo 2, and the Halo games that went online where you can play with other people, like the game called Whacked I had, which was a good, funny, quirky game where you can play with people online. And that around that time area of those games is when I experienced some racism, and I will tell you a couple stories about that, and I'll let you know everything that happened with that, man, because it was pretty sad, and it was just pretty disappointing, to hear things like that when you want to enjoy gaming. You enjoy gaming to get away from things like that, to forget the world what's going on in the world for a while. And you don't want that in gaming. Who wants that in gaming? I don't think nobody wants to hear or experience that in gaming. So E-Rock, can you like give me any experiences that you ever had, like playing online games, or any friends that ever talked to you about how they experienced racism in gaming, man? Is there anything that you can share with me and the audience about um, things like that have happened in gaming, man?
Well, as far as in gaming, I haven't really seen a whole lot because I didn't join Xbox Live until 2007, and I really was anti against gaming online. Just because I just didn't want to do it because I heard too many negative stories from buddies of mine who gamed, and they were in lobbies and Halo and lobbies and Call of Duty, and you know been called all kinds of niggers and stuff like that, and by people who don't even know you, and by people who wouldn't say that to you if they saw you. So I was really reticent and not really on board with getting online. It wasn't really until I would say, damn, Sea of Thieves, that I felt comfortable getting back online, because in that world, unless you use your emotes, you really aren't in contact with other gamers the way that you are in these shooters. But I heard too many horror stories about people, girls, women, Latinos, blacks, that are in lobbies and have been called all kinds of stuff, man. And even though it's not gaming related, it is gaming related. Just on my YouTube channel, man, over the last couple of years, I've had
Yes,
people,
yes.
call me spook or coon or nigger and stuff like that. It's one
Yeah.
thing for us blacks to call each other, you know, niggers, or if it's one thing for two Spanish dudes to say, "Hey, what's up, cholo?" It's different. It's amongst us. It's an unwritten
Right.
language amongst us. But for someone who
Right.
is white to use it, like it's just a line that you don't cross. It's a line that you just don't cross. But besides my personal experiences, I haven't had too many actual racism and gaming experiences, Sega man, because I just didn't want to go online because all of the stuff I heard about getting online to play a video game, it just I had a bad taste in my mouth about it. I said to myself, everybody used to always ask, man, you don't want to get online and play Gears of War? And I said, I'm not going to be dealing with some little 12-year-old from Oklahoma talking about, boom, I shot you, nigga. And I can't get to him and
Yeah,
strangle his
yeah.
ass. I can't get to him and choke him out. So I spared myself that, man. But if you live long enough as a gamer and game online or have a gaming channel, you are going to encounter racism. And when I mean racism, I don't mean like I'm sure
Yes.
somebody in the comment section will be like, "Oh, well, you guys say the word Jap. That's not racism." Jap was a word that was used in the 1940s and 50s to describe people of Japanese ancestry. Okay, it's not a derogatory term in the same way the word nigger is a derogatory term, or kike or spick is a derogatory term. Okay, matter of
Yes.
fact, Jap
Or
is
spook.
actually, yeah, or spook. Jap is actually an abbreviation. Okay, so don't give me that shit. All you folks that are in love with Sony and Nintendo, and you get offended when you hear that word. So I never got on online gaming until Sea of Thieves because I just heard all the horror stories about all the racist comments and even girls, even women being, verbally assaulted, and it just left a bad taste in my mouth, Sega man. So that's my experience with racism in my comment section and my experience of hearing other folks'
Yes.
stories of encountering racism in Halo and Gears of War made me not want to get online. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yes. And I totally agree with you, E-Rock. And I'm gonna tell you guys something, and I really want you guys that are watching right now, the 7 that are watching, me and E-Rock, thank you very much for coming to our podcast today. And the topic is race and gaming. I really appreciate you guys being here. And if you do want to comment, guys, please do. We don't. It's not going to hurt anything. You know what I mean? If you have any or want to share any kind of experiences with racism, being discriminated against in gaming, it's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay, man. That's what we're here for, to talk about it. Maybe somebody can walk away feeling good about it and want to go and battle this, man, because this is very serious, man. This is a very serious problem that's in gaming right now. We have enough problems today with the racism that's going on right now in 2021 in politics and in everyday life. You know what I mean? We experience this. People of color experience this all the time. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that other ethnicities don't experience it. There is white folks out there that do experience racism. Okay, but
Yeah,
let's just be blunt and let's just be real. The African American and the Latina community experience racism a hell of a lot more, and a hell of a lot more happens to them. You see it every day on the news. When you turn on your computer, you see it. You see it. When you turn on your TV or the news channel, I don't watch the news anymore. I don't really pay attention to the news anymore because to me, they're just a bunch of propaganda, and to me they're a part of the problem. You know what I mean? They're a big part of the problem because they don't tell you the whole story when something happens to a Latino or a black person. They only show and tell you the things they want you to know. But when you go to social media on here and you go to websites on here that have podcasts that gets the full video footage of what happened to a Latino or black person. You see it all in its raw footage. That's the news you should watch. That's the real news if you want to see what really happened to people with incidents like that. So, that being said, I want to give a good story to you guys, and Sega Man wants to share this with you today and with my brother E-Rock. I was on Xbox Live when Xbox Live was born. My wife bought it for me for Christmas in December. She said, "Hey, hun, it's called Xbox Live where you can play with people and meet people and play games with them. Would you want to have that and try that out for your Xbox?" And I was like, "Sure." So that's when we had a big Ethernet cable that ran from the computer into the living room and hooked up to my OG Xbox. I was very happy and excited to get started with that. And the very first game I played that was on live was called Whacked. I told you guys about that earlier, by Presto Studios. They went out of business right after Live actually went up. and they were affiliated with Microsoft Studios back then. But what I experienced in that game, for the most part, was fun. Now, the other games I'm going to tell you guys about here, you'll see what I'm talking about. But there had been a problem one time in that game where there was a younger African American kid, right? He was a good player. Okay, so he decided he wanted to talk about, some personal things to people that were in the lobby. You know what I mean? So this is way back then. So when he did that, there was somebody in there, and I can't remember the name because it was so long ago. He went spreading all this stuff around. He dipped into this guy's personal life, found out things about him. Then he went to other lobbies when he would play the game and talk about him, and he found out about it. The guy was the kid was I don't know if I have a good word for it now today, but he was a hermaphrodite where he had both sexual organs and he had a tail. I guess his backbone had a little tail or something. I think he would confide in somebody, would tell them that, his personal business. But, it really hurt his feelings, and he went around making in front of him and talking about him about that. And that is a form of racism and discrimination when you do things like that. You know what I mean? I don't know what happened to the guy. I really wish him well. But that's what I experienced in that game with that. You know what I mean? Because they're discriminating against him because he was a hermaphrodite, I believe, and just making in front of the guy. And it really hurt his feelings. It took him a long time to come back on and play the games with us and play together, but we got him back on, and we assured him that if anybody ever would talk about him in the game with us or even found out about him, we would take care of them. You know what I mean? Because it was just wrong to do. That does not belong in gaming. You keep your personal feelings to yourself. If he chooses to do that and tell you guys or tell somebody he's talking to in there about it, okay? Be respectful. And if you think that, well, I don't like that and I don't think that's right or whatever, if you think that, you need to keep that shit to yourself. You need to be respectful towards that person that is that way. You know what I mean? Don't go out and try to make yourself get some clout and get some recognition by going out and making in front of people that are like that. That's just very wrong to do. You know what I mean? And you shouldn't do that. And you should keep that shit to yourself, man. So real quick, my very first experience, guys, with racism, real bad racism, was when I was playing Halo 2. Now, this wasn't against me because I'm going to tell you guys a secret. When I would play Halo back then, I was quiet. I never talked. I would listen to everybody else. I never really talked. If they would say, Sega Man, because we had teams, are you in here or you have a mic? I'd be like, yeah. And that's it. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, that's it. I wouldn't talk or associate or anything like that, okay? I just didn't back then. But we had a team we were going against, right? There was 2 different times this happened. There was a couple African-American brothers that were on the other side, okay? And on my side was a couple of Caucasian guys, and I think it was a couple of Caucasian guys and a girl. You know what I mean? I can't remember. And the other team was whipping our ass. The team that the brothers were on, the African-American brothers, they were whipping our ass, because they were really good at the game. So they started to, trash talk. Trash talk is part of multiplayer gaming. If you can't handle that, you need to get the fuck off of multiplayer and go and go play those story-driven single-player games.
Right.
Okay, because trash talking is part of the game, whether you're playing Call of Duty or anything else. But you have a limit though to what you should be saying. You know what I mean? If you say to somebody in there, "Oh man, you guys suck, man. You guys need to up the ante, man. You need to up your game." You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Okay, that's understandable. All right. So the brother was like, "Oh man, y'all suck, man. Y'all need to get better skills when you go against me." So some white dude, right, took it upon himself, and he got mad because he kept getting shot down. You know what I mean? And he said, he told him, he said, oh man, fuck you, nigger, you fucking nigger, I'll beat your fucking ass, man, you know, you fucking bitch ass nigger. I'm telling you what the guy said in raw form. This is what he said. He was a racist. He sounded like one of the Proud Boys. I'm being honest with you. He sounded like one of them Southern Proud Boys that hunt all day and do nothing else. That's what he
Wow.
sounded like. You know what I mean? So the brother was like, "Oh man, why are you putting racism in it, man? This is just video games, man. Why are you doing that, man? Fuck you, nigger. I'll beat your motherfucking ass. I'll find you, fucking nigger. You ain't shit on here, man." Like he was saying stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wow. And I'm sitting back and I'm like, man, what the hell? So I started talking. I said, hey man, why you gotta come on, man, you don't need to do that, man. You don't need to be calling him names like that, man. You know, that's not right, man. That's bullshit. Fucking fuck that nigger, man. He's a fucking nigger. You know? And I'm like, wow. So that was one of the experiences I had, guys. And it was a bad experience. It was a very bad experience because at that time, I don't think when you had the OG Xbox, I don't think you really could report it. You might have to call Microsoft back then. I can't remember. But it just took all the fun out of the game. The brother was just having fun. You know what I mean? He was, you know, doing a little game trash talking, but nothing to where would make him go and call him a nigger. You know what I'm saying? So you don't know who you're going to be playing with in these games, and you'll be surprised. And I think that's why a lot of gamers today might not talk in their games because they're afraid they might get discriminated against. I can feel that. I feel like if they're playing Call of Duty and it's a African American or a Latino, they might not want to talk because they might feel that if they're really good at the game and they're beating the other team, they might be possible there might be somebody on that other team that could be racist, that can say racist slurs, talk about them, and I think they're afraid to do it. I really believe that, man. You know what I mean? But it was a bad experience, E-Rock, and I'll tell you one quick one here. This is a good story because something good came out of this, man. I was playing Halo 2 again. We were playing Slayer. And there was a woman, a girl, that was I was on her team. The other team, I think was just more of guys on there. And let me tell you guys something. In the comment section to my brother E-Rock, this girl was so badass at Halo 2, she was dominating the other team. I didn't have to do nothing. Put it that way. She was destroying them. And this is how I found out she was a girl, because at first I thought it was a dude because she didn't talk. Okay? She didn't talk. And I'm gonna get to Fedor Sharad's comments here in a second. We were playing the Halo 2, and she was just whipping their ass, sniping the fuck out of them, coming up behind them, stabbing them, and shooting them, right? So the guy started talking on the other team. Oh, man, fuck this shit, man. They probably got some kind of fucking cheat code. There's no way they can fucking do this. So the girl started talking. That's where it all went downhill. And she said, oh, what's the matter, guys? You can't handle a woman, beating you? And that's where it all went downhill. This is where it all went downhill. So
told her to go back in the kitchen and all that shit, huh?
Yeah, it was even worse, man. So one dude said, the one dude said, who the fuck you think you're, and he sounded like one of them racist dudes. He did. He said, who the fuck you think you are, bitch? You pussy probably smells like fish, motherfucker. And all this other shit. Yeah, he said that. He said that, man. He's like, he said, in my opinion, you stinky ass pussy bitches don't belong in Halo and belong in games like this. It was bad. Wow. It was bad, man. When he said, and I told you guys I have to tell you how it is. Okay, I'm not gonna say he said her coochie stink, okay, because that's not what he said. He said her pussy smelled like fish and she should not be in gaming. Okay, I'm telling you the raw truth. This is what happened. So that just made her madder, and she started killing him more than anybody else. Because you can see when they talk, you can see the little microphone moving and who it is. So she just kept going after him. You know what I mean? He kept running his mouth, man. Fuck you, bitch. You fucking bitch. Women don't belong on gaming. Women belong sewing and doing other shit. You know, fucking me and doing what they're supposed to do. This all kind of stuff. It was bad. So after the game, we left. I left quickly. You know, she was still in the one lobby, and I actually talked to her. She was from Canada. I can't remember. I can't remember her name, but she was from Canada. So we actually became friends on the OG Xbox, and I talked to her for hours. She was telling me how much she liked gaming, how much she loved Halo, and I come to find out she had a little girl clan that were good at Halo. She had a team, and they went against people, and they've won a lot of Halo matches. You know, I don't know if they
Wow.
became like really popular, E-Rock, but she did have a little girl clan. They had a little, you know, they had the little shirts and all that stuff like that, and it was a bunch of girls that were whipping ass on Halo, and they were from Canada. I can't remember their names, man. But that was one of the experiences I had, man. It was one of the
Wow.
experiences I had when it came to stuff like that, man.
That's crazy.
You know, but yeah, it's bad. You know, E-Rock. I experienced it also in Mech Assault was my favorite game of all time online game on OG Xbox. I played a lot. I played with a lot of brothers from LA. You could tell they were from LA because I know how LA brothers talk and their swag. And then you had other people in there. And then it happened again. The one brother was from LA, and this white dude was disrespectful, calling him a nigger and you suck, you motherfucker, and you know what I mean, because he kept blowing him up. So this D actually clapped back. You know what I mean? He actually
Wow.
clapped back. He's like, "I'll beat your mother. I bet you wouldn't say that shit to my face, you fucking honky, because you know I whip your motherfucking ass." You know what I mean? But the experience of that was bad. It just took the fun out of the game. It just took the fun out of the game. You know what I mean? And my main point is, guys, about my stories I told you, is that it's not right to have that in gaming. It's a bad experience to have to experience something like that, especially people of color, Latinos, and African Americans. You know what I mean? We're there to have fun just like everybody else. But when we start talking, because they know how we talk, you know what I mean? They know how
Yeah.
we are and how we talk. And when we start talking, and that's what gives it away, they want to be racist because they can hide behind a microphone and a controller, and talk that. But I guarantee you 100%, and everybody in the chat can verify, and they know this deep down in your heart, you guys know this. If they were to meet that person, they would change very quickly. They would change very quickly because they always do it behind a keyboard and a mouse and a controller and a headset. But if you were to meet that person, would you dare say and do that shit in front of their face? I think not. I think not. You know what I mean? So that's what I experienced, E-Rock, in early gaming with the OG Xbox. Now, when I was on the 360, I think one time I was playing, it was Call of Duty. I think I experienced it once on there. Some dude called a black African American woman. She was playing with us, called her a nigger bitch. You
Damn.
know what I mean?
Damn.
So I experienced this stuff, guys. This is what racist people say. Proud boy thinking gay. I mean, proud boy thinking people say. They say stuff like this. And we don't need this in gaming, you know? But yeah, that's some of the things that I wanted to share with you, E-Rock, and share with everybody in the comment sections of what I experienced, man, in racism in gaming, man. You
That's
know?
just crazy, man. That's just crazy. And one of the reasons why I didn't ever want to go online. There it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just
And then we
crazy,
got
man.
I mean, what are you saying here? Let me see. Fatal Shirai, he's really participating in this, and I really appreciate him doing that. And there another brother in here. I can't say his name. Is it Kella Cabrera? Kala Cabrera?
Hey, Sega man,
He
go through the
said,
comments, and I'm gonna duck out for a second, okay?
"Okay, all right."
All right.
But I much respect to everybody in here. Much respect to Fatal Rashad, man. He has a lot of comments he put in here. So let's see some of the stuff he wrote. I remember the first game I played on Xbox Live Was Capcom versus SNK. That was a great game, Fatal, man. That was awesome. And then he put let's put his comment up. You know, let's put his, let me see, where's that one comment I want to put up of Fatal, our brother Fatal Sherrod here. So he, you know, he put up some pretty good comments here. You know, let's see what we got. Let's see here. So, you know, Fatal Sherrod says, that's why I avoid a lot of the COD lobbies back during the 360 days. And that's true, because a lot of people experience racism. And back in those days, man, especially in the Call of Duty days on the 360, that's absolutely true. You know what I mean? Your experience is to talk and interact with people, right? When you're playing games. No matter if you're black, Latino, or white, you're supposed to conversate with these people. It's part of the game. And people of color, some of them are afraid to do that because they're going to be afraid they're going to be, you know, shunned out, called the N-word, you know, and things like that. You know what I mean? I'll give you another good example. I was playing Gears of War 4. All right. There was a brother that was Cole. Or was it 5? No, I think it was 5. Yeah. There was a brother that was Cole. Okay. He was talking, you know, oh, yo, man, come and help me, man. I'm down. I'm down. Yo, come and help me. They wouldn't help him. They wouldn't help him. I helped them every time. So after the game, I went and looked at these players, you know, their profile. And some of them leave where they're from and, you know, their avatars and stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you know, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? Even in Gears of War, believe it or not, in Gears of War 5, I'm just speaking the truth. There's a lot of people that are racist in there too. If you're a black character, they're going to absolutely assume that you're black. And if they're racist and you're even in the game, they're not going to help you up. They're not going to, you know what I mean? They're not going to do it. This is just the truth, guys. I'm speaking the truth. You know what I mean? They're not going to help you. People, when they find out that you choose black characters, they're automatically going to think you're black. When in reality, it could be a white person playing as Cole. This is how stupid people are today. You know, they automatically think you're a black person playing a black character. Mostly African Americans are gonna pick a black character if they have that choice in the game. Why not? You know what I mean? Would you feel uncomfortable if you were you know, a white gamer and then all the characters were just black? And all of them were black and there was no white characters? How would you feel about that? You have to put yourself in our shoes. Okay? We want variety. We want variety. Okay? I want to see people of color and different ethnicities in games. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. It's not hurting your experience of a black character being in a game. So, you know, why not support it? You know? People do things like that out there. You know, that's just the way it is. They do that all the time. You know? But Fatal Sherrod, he really put up some good stuff here. Like
Wow.
he said, you know, like, you know, that's why he put up E-Rock. That's why I avoided a lot of COD lobbies back during the 360 days.
Okay.
Because, you know, it did happen in those lobbies. I mean, you know, if you were to, you know, conversate with them and they found out you're, you know, an African American or something, they can really talk some smack to you in those lobbies, call you all kind of niggers and you know, and tar baby and, you know, stuff like that. You
They're
know,
still doing that shit to this day.
they still do that today. That's the point. They, you know, they still do that shit today. You know, and not much respect to one brother in here. I can't say his name. Is it Kala? I can't say his name. Iran. Caliber Killer. Caliber Killer. Maybe it's Caliber Killer. You know, he says respect for speaking on this subject. Salute. You know what I mean? Because it's just something that needs to be talked about, man.
Yeah,
You know.
that's
So
great.
so E-Rock, man. Going forward in gaming, what would you like to see more implemented into gaming, man? Do you feel there should be more African American leads in double and triple A games? Do you believe there should be more Latinos as lead characters in games? Now, I'm not saying that there wasn't, because when we were younger, the only one I can remember having a lead in their game was Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Yeah,
That's the only one I can really remember, and that's gone way back. I mean, you might
yeah,
have some trickle down here and there, like Milo Briggs or something like that. But if you play gaming as long as we have, to be honest with you guys, we haven't really seen many African American characters as leads in games. We just haven't. So, what do you think about that, E-Rock? Would you like to see more going forward of more African Americans having their own game and being in the lead of a game? And also, would you like to see more like different ethnicity in games like Latinos, man? What's your opinion on that?
yeah. I would definitely like to see that, man. It's been too few and far in between of games I could think of the recent generation and or maybe even the last 11 years. Marlo Briggs on the Xbox 360, which was a great game that everybody missed, that had a black lead. Mafia 3 had a black lead. And of course, there's the
Yeah.
infamous uh, Halo 5, I believe it is, with
Yes.
the
Lock.
lead character Locke that everybody had a fit about. I
Yes.
would definitely like to see
Yes.
more of that, but make it a significant lead character like Marlo Briggs or
Right.
like Locke
Right.
or like Lincoln, whatever his name was in Mafia 3. One of the most badass things I've seen in the last 10 years was, even though it was a movie, it was a great movie, probably one of the greatest Star Wars movies since the original series, Star Wars Rogue One, uh,
Yeah.
had a Spanish lead. So if anything, Rogue One showed that a Spanish lead can be viable for a movie and for a video game. I would love to see more of it. I would love to see a black woman in a lead in a video game.
Yes.
We have
Yes.
a we
Yes.
have an upcoming Xbox exclusive called The Muck, where I believe the character is a person
Are you
of
talking
color.
about the gunk? The
Oh,
gunk.
the gunk. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
You're right.
really
I'm
looking
happy
forward
about
to
that.
that.
I'm happy
Oh
about
yeah.
that, man. Because I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah.
I'm actually gonna buy that game, E-Rock. I'm actually going to support the developer, brother, and I'm going to buy that game. Doesn't matter if I have my Series X or not. I'm going to buy that game, and I'm going to support that developer,
That's
man.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. And as far as video games, yeah, we don't see enough Spanish leads. I don't know whether the character in Just Cause was he Spanish or not. I don't
I
remember.
think he
Um,
was. I
okay,
think
yeah,
he. I think he was. Yeah.
we need to see more of that. And the last really major cult classic, significant game featuring a Spanish lead, although it was more of a character than the lead, was Grim Fandango, which takes place in the Mexican
Yes.
underworld. But
Yes. Yes.
definitely, I think we need to see more of that going forward. More diversity in games, and when I mean diversity, I don't mean forced diversity. Like,
Right.
if you got a problem of seeing gays and lesbians in video games, because I heard all the backlash about Cyberpunk 2077, and people didn't like the fact that it had lesbian relationships in it. Look, man, it's a brave new world. This is part of our world now, but I want to see more inclusion that isn't just of that type. I want to see a Spanish character, or I want to see a black
Yes.
lead. I want to see more of that. And it's up to the developers to push that and try to push that forward. So yeah, I want to see
Yeah.
more of it.
You're right. And E-Rock, our brother Fatal Richard said that Life is Strange 2 had a Latina lady in it. I didn't know that. Thanks for the input, brother. I appreciate that. And I did forget about one
Okay.
he's actually talking about too, and he's right about, and we can't forget this. I actually bought the whole season of The Walking Dead, the Michonne
Uh,
version.
Oh,
That's
okay.
another one that was a lead had her own story in The Walking Dead. And I do respect that. Michonne, and that was a good one. I beat that. That was awesome. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, and then let's see, Caliber Killer. I think I'm saying his name right. He's right. Prototype 2. You're right, guys. That was a lead they had in there. And I believe one more. I think in Crises. I think Crises was a black man. The guy that
Oh,
played in the Crises
Prophet.
2 and 1, I think he's a black man. You know what I mean? If I'm correct. I think that's, am I right, E-Rock? Crises? I think the dude was a
Yeah,
brother, right?
yeah. The first crisis. His name was Prophet. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you guys are really hitting on some good ones here, man. You're refreshing my memory, man. You're right. And I own those games. And I own those games. You know what I mean? But it would be nice. It would be nice if Master Chief, like for instance, you remember that whole debacle about Halo 5. A lot of people hated Halo 5 and they don't, and I'm going to be upfront with it, and everybody's going to know about this because I know people thought this way. They didn't like Halo 5 because they didn't like Locke. They did not like Locke in there as one of the leads in there. Master Chief was still in there, but let's just face it. It was more focused, in my opinion, on Locke. And they really hated when Locke cracked Master Chief's helmet. They hated that. I've heard that from the grapevine that they didn't like that. You know what I mean? And they didn't like Locke, but they could never explain really why they didn't like Locke. So a lot of the black gaming community started to think, well, maybe you don't like Locke, maybe you're racist against Locke because he's black and he's in Halo. There were people actually out there saying this. You know what I mean? They started, getting offensive about it because they would go to these podcasts, E-Rock, and people would be talking about Halo 5, and it was always Locke didn't belong in here. Locke is dead now because it showed his helmet on a Lego character on a commercial. Just different things like that. You know what I mean? Like he didn't deserve to be in the game.
Wow.
That's what it sounded like, E-Rock. Like Locke, Agent Locke didn't deserve to be in the game. Agent Locke deserved to be in the game just like every other character like Buck and all them guys in there. He deserved to be in there. Okay, and I believe he was Osiris team, if I got that correct. You know what I mean? And he has a story. You know what I mean? So I thought to myself one day, E-Rock, what if Master Chief was never revealed, right? Everybody always used to wonder what Master Chief looked like behind that helmet. How would they feel if he took that helmet off and it was a black man behind there?
Oh boy.
Would they really be praising Chief today if they found out that it was really a black man that actually was Chief? If
Oh
you can
boy.
actually he can actually take his helmet off and see Chief. What if Chief was a black character? How would they feel about Halo? There is racism in gaming, guys. A lot of people don't want to admit that, they don't like to see lead black characters in gaming. They want to keep everything the same old, same old. They don't want to see a lead woman character. Like they had a problem with the a woman being on the cover of was it Battlefield 5? There was
Yeah.
a big debacle about that. You know what I mean? Oh my God, a woman on it. I mean, they made a big deal about that. So it does come from both sides, man. You know? But I want to see it change like E-Rock. I want to see more lead characters that are of color in gaming. I do. I've been playing games for a long time. So is E-Rock. He bought 100 and all of us. And we grew up playing with, they were white characters. Most of them were white. Bad Dudes, Double Dragon, uh, you know, games like that. You know what I mean? What's the other one? Contra. These are games we grew up with and we liked. And they were always, big muscle white dudes with guns. Well, back then, it would have been cool to see a brother with big muscles and an afro shooting at people or shooting at aliens. You know what I mean? It's just something that I would want to happen. And I shouldn't be crucified about that. This is how I feel as a person of color that is a gamer, that is a collector, and I have a voice. And I think there should be more ethnicities in gaming. You know, Fatal
I agree.
Rashad's putting up. I don't know if you can show. Is it pictures? I don't know if you can do that on here. I don't know if you can do that, Rashad, man. I don't know. I see your comments though. on here. They're talking about like Dragon Age 3, different games like that, E-Rock. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just wanted to do this quick podcast with my brother E-Rock. You know what I mean? We're going on almost, we got like 5 more minutes because we wanted to just go an hour. And I want to just thank everybody that comes and rocks out with me on my podcast and rocks out with my me and my brother's podcast, the Exile podcast, E-Rock, the Don King of Xbox. You know what I mean? He's been out there in the trenches. He's been out there in the trenches here for a few days with, you got Inhumanoids that want to attack him. You remember the Inhumanoids that used to come on TV? They want to attack him, man. They want to attack him because he can afford gaming. They're mad because he can afford, playing games that he likes. You know what I mean? So, and they took everything he said out of context and tried to make a big deal. What you saying, man? You saying that poor people can't play games? Well, you know what I say? I'm going to say, yeah, you can't play games because nobody's going to buy shit for you. You know what I mean? If you want to play the Xbox Series X, a PlayStation 5, or a Nintendo Switch, you got to go out and work for that shit. You got to go out and do something, all right? Nobody's going to give you nothing. Nobody's not going to give you a PlayStation 5. Nobody's going to give you an Xbox or a Switch. You have to go work for that shit. And E-Rock has worked hard for his stuff.
And it's asinine to think that these companies, these corporations are supposed to make money. Hey, E-Rock, let's start a lemonade stand, right? Okay, great. Let's buy all of the plastic jugs and all the ingredients and do all the marketing. But let's not sell the lemonade. Let's give the lemonade away. Get the fuck out of here.
Right. Right. And you know what's real funny about this whole thing with my brother E-Rock? I support him to the utmost and Hebot and my brother Unlimited One Production and our crew, the Exile Podcast. But you know what's really fathoms me about this is these guys come to E-Rock's channel, talk about him and you should get a PC, you should do this and that. You know what I mean? And getting on him about saying stuff about poor gamers. But you guys are over on your favorite YouTube's channel, Andy Griffin Gaming or whatever his name is. You're supporting him. You're giving him the little bit of pocket change you have. Yeah. And he's buying what he wants off of your money. That's money you could be saving to buy what you want to play or what you want to do. But yet you're going to come over there and talk about E-Rock. You guys make no sense, man. You really don't make no sense. If you go over there, you see, what does he have up? A Patreon thing? Or you could probably see where he gets $5 or $2.
Sega man, I sat and watched that boy collect $400 in less than an hour.
Wow.
And y'all coming to my motherfucking channel bitching about me because I paid for a bunch of shit out of my pocket. Oh man, but I'm the bad guy. You fucking young kids are just fucking ridiculous and asinine, and it is what it is. We're never going to agree.
That's crazy.
We ain't gotta fucking agree.
That's right.
Get a fucking job. I'm not out here with no damn Patreon trying to rob y'all motherfuckers. Get out of here, man.
Yeah, did you see the comment section here real quick, E? Fatal Rashad said, I remember Griffin Gaming recently bought a RTX 3090 that's thing cost over $2,000.
Yeah,
he put that in the comment section.
Yeah, right. I see why his audience is paying for it.
Right. Nothing comes out of his pocket. Don't let that fool you guys. You guys are supporting him. And that's why he could play and he has all that stuff. But yet you can come to a YouTuber like E-Rock that's just trying to make it out here in these gaming streets, have a podcast, talk about gaming, and you're going to go and talk about him. You know what I'm saying? He ain't out there, begging you guys for any money. He worked hard for what he got. You know what I mean? Then you got to go to, when you start getting ass hurt about it. You know what I mean? You guys start talking about things in his kitchen. Oh, man. Oh, shit, man. E-Rock, man, you're supposed to have all this money, but you're drinking Miller beer, man. What's up with that? For real? Are you guys being for real? You're going to talk about a man's refrigerator and talk about what's in the background of his house, talking about, oh, man, E-Rock, if you have all this money, man, you should be able to afford to do your podcast on a laptop or PC and not a cheap ass phone. You sound stupid on a cheap ass stuff like that. Stuff like that. It's just dumb and asinine, man. I don't understand them. But you know what? Go ahead, E-Rock. Go ahead.
Andy Mack told me a long time ago. He said, "Tell them motherfuckers to buy you a goddamn a new camera and all that shit." He told me a long time ago to answer that shit. Like y'all want me to shoot my shit in 4K? You buy me the 4K camera. You bought fucking Griffin Gaming the shit.
Yeah, right. And they do that with all the other ones too. Crap Gamer, all them guys, Mooch, all those guys. You know what I mean? They ain't paying for that shit. It's the money they get from their podcasts. You know what I mean? All that money that they gave to them, they could have their own podcast right now. You dig, E-Rock, and probably be making that money, but they want to go and give it to them.
Or they could afford game, or they could afford gaming and not be bitching in my fucking comment section like bitching. I don't have that. I stand by my video. I don't have no sympathy for any of them, and nor am I ever going to.
And just like Caliber Killer said, people be pocket watching. Ain't that the truth? You know? But yeah, guys, I told E-Rock about an hour, so we're gonna get out of here. Hey, look who's in the comment section. What is up, Fire Boss? What's up with you, brother? What's good, man?
Up, man?
He said, huh?
Oh, go ahead.
We're gonna end it here in a minute. We're gonna end it. Fireboss says, yeah, boys, let's get into that half-baked chip like I said it was. I guess he's talking about the PS5. Hey, Fireboss, I'm going to get ready and get off, but Fireboss, I want to talk to you, man. So hit me up on Instagram. If you're still here, I want to talk to you. I want to know how you've been. I haven't talked to you before Christmas. You're still our brother. You know what I'm saying? You're still our brother. I want to talk to you, man. So hit me up later on Instagram. All right, man. I want to hear from you. All right, Fireboss. I need you to hit me up, man.
That's right.
I want you to hit me up, Fireboss. So what's up, E-Rock? Is there something you wanted to say, man? Or are you ready to end the podcast?
Yeah, before we go, I wanted to announce the and I'm going to make a video about it later for like 5 minutes. I want to announce the retirement of NWO Prime. It's very unfortunate. He's just tired. He's tired of all of the bullshit. He's tired of all of the racism that he's seen in gaming lately. And I think he's taking a break, but he's retiring. NWO Prime doesn't know how loved he was. And, I followed him for years, man. He made videos out of his basement. Okay, all right. So he wasn't always the most eloquent dude out there with words, but he spoke from the heart. And I'm hurt. I'm hurt to know that he's retiring. So,
man,
I'm gonna do a video about it later when I get an opportunity.
Okay.
And
that's still our brother.
Yeah, definitely, man. NWO Prime is one of the crew for life. He called himself Exile NWO Prime, and that's where I got the name from for the Exile podcast. So just wanted to pass that news on.
All right. Hey, before we leave, what'd you say, Fireboss? You're what? I can't use Instagram. I'm locked out. How'd you get locked out, brother? How did they lock you out?
He told one of them chicks she had big ass titties. So they banned him. They got him up out of there.
Oh man.
They be wild.
Well, he says he's on. He says he's on. He said you can catch me on a DM on Twitter. He's on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm gonna try to. Okay, Fireboss. Me and E-Rock are about to end the podcast, but I want to talk to you, man, because it's been a long time. We were worried about you. I was wondering if something happened to you. Me and He-Bot, we didn't hear from you. Didn't know it was up. I asked T Reaper. He said he didn't know. You know what I mean? So what? I refuse to recognize any of my passwords. Yeah, but listen, man. We got to go. E-Rock got stuff to do. You know what I mean? I got stuff to do. But I'm going to tell you what, man. I am going to find you on Twitter. You'll know it's me because of the Sega Man logo you see there. You'll know it's me. and I want to get with you, man. I want to actually, see how you're doing. Maybe do a little podcast with you sometime in the week. Maybe if we could possibly get our brother E-Rock or Hebot to come on with us just to see what's up, man. It's just we were worried about you. Hebot actually thought something happened to you, like you got sick or something, because we haven't heard from you in so long. But you're still our brother, man. So you know what I mean? So I want to get with you after the podcast, man, on Twitter. You know what I mean? And we'll chop it up on there, man. But I want to thank everybody for coming out to the podcast, Race and Gaming, with me and my brother E-Rock. You know what I mean? I really appreciate him coming on and talking about this, because it's something that really needs to be talked about and needs to be addressed. And I hope you guys kind of learned something from this podcast today, because this is a serious matter that still needs more work and needs to be handled, man, in gaming with Latinos and people of color in gaming. The racism in gaming needs to stop. You know what I'm saying? One love to everybody. You know what I mean? Peace, And so, E-Rock, on that note, man, can you just tell everybody that's watching, shouts out to the 7 people that are watching, where they can find you, brother, and what's going on with your channel, man?
Hey man, you can always find me over at the E-Rock X channel, where I keep it painfully real. And I'm going to always keep it painfully real. No matter who it offends, it is what it is. I'm over there fighting more trolls than the Fellowship of the Ring. So you can go over there and check me out if you want. But it's been crazy in YouTube. It's been crazy in YouTube this month, man. How many people get hurt over opinions and words. But it was great to do this show with Sega Man, and hopefully we can do some more.
Yeah, and thank you, everybody, for joining us, and thanks to my brother E-Rock, man. And also, come and please check us out on Sunday nights on the Exile podcast with the whole crew, with E-Rock, the Don King of Xbox, Unlimited One Productions, myself, and Hebot. Come and check us out. And Tuck, come and check us out on Sunday nights at 8 p.m., guys. We have a great show over there. If you're new to the channel, come and check us out, man. If you want to subscribe to me and E-Rock, that's fine. But in my opinion, you don't have to. You know what I mean? We just like to talk about gaming and talk about what's going on here in these gaming streets, man. That's what it's all about. But if you want to subscribe, I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys coming through, man. You know what I mean? And here's the point, E-Rock. We're getting ready to leave, man. You got the trolls coming in, brother, giving me the thumbs down. Hey, I want to say thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate the thumbs down. I really appreciate it. At least I know you're watching me. At least I know you're watching me, man. And that's awesome. You know what I mean? So you can keep the thumbs down coming, brother, because when you click on, at least you're coming in here and checking me and my boy E-Rock out, man. I really appreciate it. Much respect to you guys. You know what I mean? That don't hurt me at all.
As far as I'm concerned, they can put some KY on them thumbs and sit on them. I don't give a shit about them thumbs down. You fucking think. Get out of here, man. We done lived through fucking the worst pandemic in human history, and
that thumb down shit don't mean shit.
No, man, get that shit out of here.
You think we supposed to cry about that? Get the fuck out of here. All right, guys. You can find me on my YouTube channel at SegaMan101, where I do retro gaming, show retro systems, retro games, do game talk with Sega Man on Saturdays. I have to get a time down. I'm busy on Saturdays usually with my family, but I try not to go too late. And I try to schedule it a little bit around Hebot, because he does a lot of stuff and he likes being on game talk with Sega Man. I like having my Exile brothers on, and I want to get other people on to chop it up with me on Saturdays with game talk with Sega Man. And on that note, guys, we're out of here. You know what I'm saying? Xbox for life. We don't die. We multiply. Wear your fucking mask. And oh, another thing. Get a fucking job. Peace.